Infantry soldiers of the Skala unit under the Ukrainian armed forces have attacked a Russian army position near the city of Pokrovsk in eastern Donetsk region with an M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. The operation started at night and continued until morning. The fighters destroyed the invaders taking a position in the forest lane by firing from a close range, then targeted the bunkers. As a result, the Russian soldiers hiding in the bunkers were killed. A soldier who tried to escape was killed by an incendiary shell fired from a drone.
Washington's decision to lift restrictions on Ukraine's ATACMS missile strikes on Russia has caused a stir among Kremlin propagandists. Gazprom Media Deputy General Director and ardent Putinist Tina Kandelaki is threatening to strike Cyprus and the UAE. The propagandist made a bold statement on her Telegram channel. Kandelaki threatens to strike at US, UK and French bases in Cyprus and the UAE. At the same time, according to her version, it will not be Russia that will take revenge on the West for ATACMS, but militants from Syria and Lebanon. The various armed groups in these countries could very well have their missiles go astray and strike by accident. The US and other NATO countries have many military bases around the world located near hotspots where long-range and high-precision weapons could suddenly appear. This is exactly what Putin warned about back in June. Didn't you listen? It's your own fault, the propagandist wrote. It is significant that Kandelaki threatens to take revenge on the sly and with the help of others. Apparently, even she realizes Russia's inability to confront the West openly in direct conflict. If Cyprus initially sided with Ukraine in the current war, the UAE tried to maintain neutrality. This country became a mediator between Kiev and Moscow in the issue of exchanging prisoners of war. The Emirates are very loyal to the Russians. In the last 3 years that the Russian Federation has been waging war, many Russian citizens, including high-ranking ones, have freely flown there for vacations and acquired real estate there. Kremlin propagandists thanked the friendly state with threats. Recall the largest US base in the Middle East is located in Qatar. Al Udeid Air Base was built in 1996. Other countries where the US has a presence include Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The US has troops in the Middle East for different reasons, and with the exception of Syria, they are there with the permission of each country's government. In some countries like Iraq and Syria, the troops are there to fight against Islamic State, Daesh, and are also advising the local armed forces. However, they have come under attack from Iran-backed forces over the past few years and have taken military action against them.
President Vladimir Putin on Thursday said Russia had tested a new intermediate-range missile in a strike on Ukraine, and he warned that Moscow could use it against countries that allowed Kiev to use their missiles to strike Russia. In a nationwide TV address, he said that it struck a missile factory in the city of Dnipro, which had been one of the most well-known producers of missiles since Soviet times. The president added that Thursday's strike on Ukraine came in response to Ukrainian strikes on the Russian territory in which US and British missiles were used earlier this week. Putin warned that Western defenses were powerless to stop the new missile, which he called the Orshnik, and that it could be used to attack any Ukrainian ally whose missiles were used to attack Russia. He also said Russia would issue advance warnings if it launches more strikes with the Orshnik against Ukraine to allow civilians to evacuate to safety, something Moscow hasn't previously done. Putin's announcement came hours after Ukraine claimed that Russia launched an intercontinental ballistic missile overnight at the central Ukrainian city of Dnipro. But American officials said an initial U.S. assessment indicated the strike was carried out with an intermediate-range ballistic missile.
Наши ракетчики назвали ее «Орешник». Испытания прошли успешно. Цель пуска достигнута. На территории Украины в городе Днепропетровске поражен один из крупнейших и известных еще со времен Советского Союза промышленных комплексов, который и сегодня производит ракетную технику, другое вооружение. Разработка ракет средней и меньшей дальности осуществляется нами в качестве ответной меры на планы США по производству и развертыванию ракет средней и меньшей дальности в Европе и Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе. Полагаем, что США совершили ошибку, разрушив в одностороннем порядке в 2019 году под надуманным предлогом договор о ликвидации ракет средней и меньшей дальности. Разумеется, выбирая в случае необходимости и в качестве ответных мер объекты для поражения такими системами, как «Орешник», на территории Украины, мы будем заранее предлагать мирным жителям, а также просить находящихся там граждан дружественных государств покинуть опасные зоны. Будем делать это по гуманитарным соображениям. Открыто, публично, без опасения противодействия со стороны противника, также получающего эту информацию. Почему без опасений? Потому что средств противодействия такому оружию на сегодняшний день не существует. Ракеты атакуют цели со скоростью 10 махов. Это 2,5-3 км в секунду. Современные, имеющиеся в мире системы противовоздушной обороны и создаваемые американцами системы противоракетной обороны в Европе подобные ракеты не перехватывают. Это исключено. «19 ноября 6 оперативно-тактическими ракетами «Атакамс» производства США и 21 ноября в ходе комбинированной ракетной атаки системами «Шторм Шедоу» производства Великобритании и «Химарс» производства США были нанесены удары по военным объектам на территории Российской Федерации, в Брянской и Курской областях. С этого момента, как мы неоднократно подчеркивали, ранее спровоцированный Западом региональный конфликт на Украине приобрел элементы глобального характера.